Dr. Marilyn Kindig Stahl, and I'm here today talking about thinking collaboratively. So let me share my screen and we'll get our meeting started. Welcome to the doctoring phase in medical school. You will need a document today to record the answers to the questions I'm going to ask, and this is week number 1 session. So learning in a community of inquiry and thinking collaboratively is what we'll start today to talk about. First, I want you to click at your tab at the bottom of Zoom to make sure your chat window is there. And then you need to exit full screen so you could see any participants that may be here. Click on the correct microphone and the volume and click the correct camera so you can make sure that you are seen and you see me. Please eliminate all distractions, turn your phone off, put on your do not disturb sign, and close your door so house information and people won't bother you. Can you see these words? Quality check. Can you hear me? And let's fix any issues before proceeding. And now we'll start. So working together. Work together with different ideas. We want to discuss how we plan projects and consider other options as a great way to come up with new concepts and ideas that maybe no one has thought of before. So how we do this and our objectives then for today, our participants would define thinking collaboratively and say why this is important. We also, participants then could explain why critical thinking is more than self-reflection, and we would do this in a social situation. And number 3, participants will understand the word metacognition in shared environments. So let's get started. First, we should reflect. A good way to think deeply and remember the information presented. So as we reflect on this lecture, we'll have several times for you to actually stop the video and write a paragraph about each question, and then you'll put it in the Dropbox in your Boonshoff School of Medicine Dropbox at the end. Ice cream is yummy. I love ice cream. And this flavor is vanilla. However, if there's only vanilla, that does not sound interesting at all. I mean, you kind of get tired of vanilla. How about chocolate, peanut butter, strawberry, raspberry, or my favorite, mousse tracks with chocolate and caramel with nuts? That sounds fascinating. But now we're back to just vanilla. So when you think about that, life would be so boring just having vanilla. Eleanor Roosevelt said, with a new day comes new strengths and new thoughts. So us thinking together brings out more ice cream flavors or more colors in what we're thinking and doing. So we need to think collaboratively. Did you ever think how it would be to be the only one on earth? If you were to come up with all the answers to a teacher's questions all by yourself, no one to help you or give you any ideas for what you're doing. So what I'd like you to do is pause this presentation and write down a time when you did a project by yourself. What were the problems, time constraints, etc., that you found? And when you write that down, and that's number A, then you want to continue with our video today. So our first objective was participants can define thinking collaboratively and explain why this is important. So collaboration is the process of 2 or more people, entities, organizations working together to complete a task or achieve a goal. So collaboration is in our video we're doing. They're working together, they're coming up with ideas, and collaboratively working together. To think in a social situation is a collective and reasonable action, distinctly human, and we do these things together as groups, sometimes not even realizing we're doing it. But collaborative thinking is well known. Google does collaborative, Facebook, Zoom, Indeed. Pioneering and creating benefits of group dynamic learning are known to the psyche and as well as to what we're going to accomplish. So a group where colleagues can explore, create, test, and practice and help with learning and coming up with new ideas. Worrying about conflicting ideas and challenges to the normal need to have you think through this so new designs can come through. But just because we don't agree doesn't mean that's a bad thing. So B, when you stop the video, you want to write a paragraph to explain a time when you did a group project. What were the benefits? What were the difficulties? Objective number 2, participants will explain why critical thinking is more than self-reflection and a social situation to accomplish new ideas works well. So you would think that collaborative thinking and critical thinking are the same, but in fact they are not. Critical thinking, more judgmental, more thought-provoking, more brain power using to try to come up, process, rationalize, recognize, and in an intellectual capacity to be able to think of new ideas. The objective analysis and evaluation of an issue in order to form a judgment. So this is your thinking phase. Education should then be more about creative problem solving with decision making than just memorizing material. Where an instructor would put out information to the class, we want to work together and solve problems. This critical thinking is a worthwhile learning experience, and it's not just memorizing information, but deep thinking with intellectual problem solving. Consider skeptical attitudes with reflection and logical reasoning, plus personal judgment when discussing these problems in a group or critically thinking by yourself and then coming together with your group to think through these things. So let's do this again. Critical thinking versus thinking collaboratively. The critical thinking teaches the students to question the information, while thinking collaboratively teaches the student that together a group can make something bigger than just one person alone. So we'll pause the video one more time. How do you feel after doing critical thinking? I would think my brain hurts. I'm tired. I'm emotionally spent because of how hard I personally have been working. But how do you feel? Objective number 3, participants will realize the metacognition in shared environments. So metacognition is the awareness and understanding of one's own thought processes. We think about thinking, we deep dive into things and put all the process together so that we certainly understand what's going on and we wouldn't forget this later. The learner then is going to take responsibility to confirm their understanding and make meaning by thinking deeply about a problem. A large effort and exhausting then, metacognition, to think in depth about the problems, concentrate, and long-term learn. So D, write the definition of metacognition and how it affects you personally without just copying my definition. You write your definition. So let's review our 3 important terms. We have collaborative thinking, where the world is all working together and the team then come up with the plan. Critical thinking, where relevant thoughts, application, reflective thoughts come together to come up with new ideas and plans. And metacognition, self-regulating memory, study skills, so that you have long-term memory. So when we put it all together, the teamwork appears then most effective if each individual helps the others to succeed. The synergy of that team increases, and ideally, every person will contribute different skills to increase the efficiency of that team and develop its unity. That's from Andrew Carnegie. So thoughts, how do you feel about thinking so hard? Has anyone ever asked you to consider these topics, or is this really the first time? Is it too difficult, or does it make you feel accomplished? So let's transfer that information. Collaboration and cooperation will beat the competition every time. I'd like you then to go to your Flipgrid video, and you all know how to do that from earlier in class. So post a comment discussing a difficult topic you've had to work within a group to accomplish, and it's Flipgrid, the regular one, plus 2BE BD 270. You have to do it in less than 2 minutes. And a quiz now. At the end of this, in your BAMS, Boonshoff Academic Medicine site, there'll be a 10-point quiz, and you can complete these when you desire over the questions covered during this lecture. It then will be due Saturday night at midnight. Any questions, you definitely can email me. I check my email fairly often.